Barron Trump has always lived in the shadows of his famous last name. But now, something unexpected is happening. At just 18, he's stealing the spotlight, and not in the way you'd think. New York University students can't stop talking about him, and it's not because of his father. What's making this young man so popular, even among those who might not agree with his family's politics? Stay with me to the end of this video, and you'll learn the surprising reason why Barron Trump has become the talk of NYU, and what this might mean for his future. For years, Barron Trump was known as the quiet and reserved youngest son of Donald and Melania Trump. While his older siblings were active in politics and business, Barron stayed under the radar. Now, he's stepped into a new chapter of his life as a student at NYU's Stern School of Business. And let's just say, he's not blending into the crowd. Why is Barron so popular among students, especially with the ladies? How is he navigating the challenges of college life while living under the constant gaze of the public eye? And what surprising role has he played in his father's political campaigns? These answers and more are coming up. But first, let's uncover how Barron went from being a high school graduate in Florida to a standout figure on one of the most bustling college campuses in the world. Stick around, because at the end of this video, I'll share an insight about Barron that even his biggest critics would find hard to believe. Barron's college journey began just months ago when he graduated from Florida's prestigious Oxbridge Academy. Choosing where to attend college wasn't just a personal decision for him, it became a hot topic in the media. Everyone wanted to know, where will Donald Trump's youngest son go next? When it was revealed that he'd chosen New York University, it raised a few eyebrows. Why New? Some speculated it was the perfect place for Barron to study business while staying close to his family's home in Manhattan. Others believed it was his way of carving out his independence in a city that thrives on ambition. But here's the twist. Barron wasn't just accepted to NYU, he had a range of options. According to Donald Trump himself, Barron got into several top-tier colleges. His decision to stay in New York wasn't random, and that choice seems to be working out. When Barron first arrived on campus, he wasn't just another freshman moving into a dorm. He was spotted outside the library with Secret Service agents close by, making it clear that his transition to college life would be anything but ordinary. But here's the surprising part. Instead of making him an outsider, his background and presence have actually drawn people in. So how did this shy teenager from a high-profile family suddenly become a social magnet? That's where things get interesting. Let's talk about the qualities that are earning him attention and why his classmates, both conservative and liberal, are saying the same thing about him. But more on that in the next part. What's really behind his growing popularity? You'll want to hear this. Stay tuned. Here's where things take an unexpected turn. Barron Trump isn't just another college student trying to blend in, he's become the center of attention, especially among the women at NYU. According to sources, he's been described as tall, handsome, and charming. These traits have earned him a reputation as a ladies' man, and his popularity crosses political lines. Yes, even students who don't support his father can't help but notice him. But it's not just about looks. There's something about Barron's demeanor that stands out. People who meet him describe him as polite, reserved, and surprisingly approachable. In a college environment where personalities often clash and egos run high, Barron's calm and collected nature seems to be a refreshing change. And then there's his height. Standing at over 6 feet 7 inches, Barron doesn't just walk into a room, he dominates it. Add to that his sense of style and a quiet confidence, and it's easy to see why so many students are drawn to him. But the real question is, how does Barron handle all this attention, especially given his unique circumstances? Despite the buzz, Barron seems to be keeping his focus. He's studying at Stern, one of the most competitive business schools in the country, which speaks to his ambition and determination. While the spotlight is on him socially, it's clear he's also working to establish himself academically. But here's where things get even more intriguing. Barron isn't just navigating college life on his own. His presence comes with a level of security and scrutiny that most students will never experience. So how does he manage to stay grounded? And what role has his upbringing played in shaping the person he's becoming? Let's get into that next. Barron's upbringing might hold the key to understanding how he's navigating this unique chapter of his life. Melania Trump has often described her parenting style as focused on independence. She once shared that she raised Barron to be his own person and made sure he understood the power of making his own decisions. It's no surprise, then, that his choice to attend NYU was entirely his own. What's even more fascinating is how supportive his family has been of his independence. Donald Trump praised Barron's decision, highlighting how many schools had accepted him. Melania, on the other hand, admitted that while she misses having him at home, she respects his choice to stay in New York and live his life on his terms. But it hasn't all been smooth sailing. As the son of a former president, Barron is under constant public scrutiny, and he can't even walk around campus without the watchful eyes of the Secret Service. On his first day, witnesses reported seeing him surrounded by agents outside the library. For most students, this might have been intimidating, but for Barron, it's simply part of his reality. What's remarkable is how well he seems to be handling it all. While his peers are adjusting to classes and dorm life, Barron is managing the added pressures of being a Trump and doing it with grace. His ability to fit in, despite the challenges, speaks volumes about his character. But here's something that sets him apart. Barron isn't using his family name to stand out. Instead, he's letting his actions and personality do the talking. This balance between embracing his identity and maintaining a sense of normalcy is something few people in his position could pull off. And yet, there's one more layer to this story: Barron's role behind the scenes in his father's political world. Let's look at how he's quietly made an impact while choosing to stay out of the spotlight. That's coming up. Barron might be quiet in public, but behind the scenes, he's made some surprising contributions to his father's political endeavors. During the 2024 presidential campaign, Barron declined an official role as a delegate for Florida at the Republican National Convention. On the surface, this decision seemed like he was stepping away from politics, but according to Melania Trump, the story was far more interesting. She revealed that Barron played a crucial role in Donald Trump's campaign strategy. While he stayed out of the public eye, he worked behind the scenes, giving thoughtful input on who his father should connect with and focus on. Melania even described him as very vocal about key decisions. This insight paints a picture of a young man who, despite his age, understands the complexities of his father's world and knows how to make an impact without stepping directly into the spotlight. His ability to balance these two worlds, college life and political involvement, might explain why Barron is so intriguing to those around him. On one hand, he's just another college student navigating classes, friendships, and a new chapter in life. On the other, he's part of one of the most prominent families in the world, contributing in ways many wouldn't expect. And yet, he seems perfectly content staying in the background, quietly shaping his path. Barron's absence at the Republican National Convention, where all of his older siblings were present, made headlines. But just weeks before, he broke his usual silence and attended a campaign rally to support his father. This rare appearance was a reminder that, while he may not always be visible, Barron's presence is felt when it matters most. As Barron continues to navigate his unique life, the question remains, what's next for him? He's already proven that he can hold his own in two very different worlds, and his story is far from over. But before we wrap up, there's one last surprising detail about Barron's time at NU that you won't want to miss. Let's close with a thought that ties it all together. Barron Trump's story at NU isn't just about popularity or family legacy, it's about a young man quietly crafting his own identity. While the media often focuses on the larger-than-life personalities in his family, Barron is showing a very different side. He's someone who values independence, privacy, and substance over spectacle. One of the most intriguing details is how his classmates describe him. Despite the security presence and the public curiosity, those who interact with Barron often highlight how down-to-earth he seems. This combination of humility and confidence has helped him stand out in a positive way, even in a city as fast-paced and competitive as New York. What makes Barron's story so fascinating is the balance he's achieved. He's growing into his own person, respected by peers who might not agree with his family's politics but admire him for who he is. He's excelling in one of the world's most demanding business programs while staying grounded amidst the challenges of being Donald Trump's son. So what can we take away from Barron's rise at NU? It's a reminder that even in the most unusual circumstances, it's possible to carve out your own path and earn respect on your own terms. Barron's journey is only just beginning, and his ability to thrive in such a complex environment hints at a promising future. Before you go, here's the takeaway: Barron Trump is more than just a name. His story at NU proves that first impressions aren't always the full story, and sometimes, the quietest ones in the room leave the biggest impact. If this glimpse into his life left you curious, think about the stories that haven't yet been told about him and others navigating life in the public eye. Share your thoughts below and keep the conversation going. This is more than just a story, it's a starting point for how we see individuals behind the headlines.